Hello everybody, this is going to be another Blitz Leaks video. I have not done one in forever, and it's just way overdue. Way overdue. So, this is going to be the new Type 59 Chinese tank camo that's hopefully going to be coming out in a few updates, or when the Chinese tanks release. And it looks okay. Personally, I think I'll stick with my Type 59 clan, or not clan, Twister Cup camo that they came out I think 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago back. That was a mod that glitched out. This is very interesting because, it looks like it was leaked with this tank that all you saw in other leaks that, well, y'all probably have seen this tank before. In any case, with the VK turret, the Hetzer body, and oh, this is hilarious. But this most people didn't see in-game or, like, in general, any pictures. Now, the first thing you would think is that it is a, well, it's a Sherman, which it probably is, but I think it is a prototype Sherman with a prototype turret, gun, and hull. And the reason why I say that is because you see those holes on the side of the supposedly Sherman? Those aren't on the actual M4 Sherman, or the Firefly, or the M4A3E8. There isn't any type of hatch on any of the Shermans like that, but the Sherman 5, I think that has a... No, I think the Firefly and the Sherman 5 both have that hatch on them. Yeah, but no Shermans or British Shermans in the game have that turret, which is very interesting because I don't think this is on PC either. When I checked, it seems like Wargaming has never released with a tank quite like this or similar. And the hull too, it's not just the turret that's different a little bit. Well, turret's actually completely different looking. And the hull isn't just slightly changed. The hull, it looks like it'll be more armored and be better sloped than the normal Sherman. It won't be a very steep slope angle where it's really flat. It's actually going to be sloped back slightly, like the M4A3E2. So hopefully this will have at least a little bit of armor to compete with. This is going to be a heavier medium, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be a medium. But this isn't the first time we've gotten a medium that isn't, that doesn't have good armor on the front. So, yeah. This is the supposed, what is it, the KV, the IK1, I think, and this tank is actually, Wargaming I think they have come out with the new World Tanks PC update that comes with the new line of Soviet or Russian heavy tanks, and I'm wondering if this is one of them. I haven't checked, which I probably should have, but either way, this is coming to Blitz. Now, what's interesting is that this is the first time we've gotten a Tier 9 Premium that looks like a, like, the first thing you would probably resemble this to is the STI, the Tier 9 Soviet heavy tank with the stock turret, and it looks like not the stock gun, but a different gun. And the hull looks completely different. It looks like that the hull's completely different than usual Russian angling that they usually use. They usually use the pike nose, but it seems that for this, it's not. It seems like it's just like it sort of looks like the Centurion 1071 hull, like the front of it, and anyway, but the rest is, I don't know. It just looks completely different than any Soviet tank that is right now in the game. Purchasable standard containers for 65,000 credits. You'll be able to buy 3 per day, and you'll be able to get 3 free. But so in total, if you use credits to get these, you'll get like 6 per day. So that's to be honest. But this is the vehicle icon for the tank. It's a little bit, it's not really good quality, but eh. And the 121B, which looks very nice actually. And the reason why you can tell this isn't the 121 or the T-34-3 is because the turret for the T-34-3 doesn't have that on it, nor does it have that big part of the gun on the tank. And the hull's different. So there's multiple things that are different from the T-34-3 compared to the 121B, which we got pictures of a while back. And it seems this is the legendary camo for it, with a gold dragon on the front, and on the back a little black, and it looks like that's the tail of the dragon, it seems. And there's flames on the turret, gold turret. It seems like there's flames that are gold on the turret. It's kind of hard to tell, but it doesn't make sense if the dragon's right here. Then what would be right here? I'm guessing it's fire, maybe. I don't know. We still haven't gotten a better resolution picture of this or a picture in game of this, so we'll just have to wait and see what that's going to be like. The AMX-30 prototype, premium tier 9. Maybe it might become a tech tree tank. But from the news we've gotten later on in these screenshots and pictures, I kind of some doubts on that. And then the AMX-30B, which was tested a couple weeks ago, I think. Yeah, I actually got about maybe 3 or 4 in battle over the span of maybe 3 hours of playing. No, about 2 hours of playing. But though that wasn't just me playing tier 10 the whole time, so that's also something you have to think about. These are the stats, which it seems like it's good in accuracy and penetration, but not really in armor or maneuverability. It seems like it's slightly lacking in both of those areas. But the hull and the armor, it seems, is horrible. The side armor is like non-existent. 35? Oof. Like, jeez. The turret armor, 150. With the sloping of the turret and the mantlet, it seems like it might be a pretty good turret, but you would probably have to wobble it quite a bit to be able to bounce armor-piercing rounds. And that's not after firing heat, APCR, premium hash. So this is the MX-31 131ER prototype stats. Does it have less health as the tier 10? No, it doesn't. The tier 10 has 200 more health. But it seems like the hull armor is really bad in the percentage, but the whole armor in general is actually not that bad. 80 at the front, 30 on the side and rear, and the front is pretty well sloped, but you have these two corners on each side of the tank that are very flat, and if that's not just sticking out like that, but if it's actually part of the front of the tank, then people will just be able to pin that instead of having to pin the plate right there. But I guess the AMX 30 is going to be like the Type 59 in regards to armor. The most of the armor is going to be in the turret, and the whole armor is going to be okay, but not the best at just frontally rushing someone and expecting bounces. You're gonna have to angle your armor very at a very steep angle to be able to ricochet shots. And this is another picture in game of the what is it? The K91. That's what it was. The K91. The K91. It seems like it's gonna have a pretty bouncy turret, but they, like on most IS tanks, that top hatch is gonna be very exposed. Probably not with a lot of armor on it, but also it's gonna have a huge, and I mean huge, lower plate. Like, it's just insane how big it is. And the top plate's probably going to be good for ricochets, but to get those ricochets, you're going to have to, like, face hug everything you see, which is ridiculous. And this thing's going to be tier 9. It's not going to be like the T-34. That's at tier 8, and it has a huge plate that gets pinned by everything, and, like, every once in a while gets bounces. This is going to be tier 9. It's going to have a huge plate. It's going to have a huge weak spot. It's just insane. This is the stats for it. 140 millimeters of frontal armor. That's pretty good if you don't consider the sloping of the lower plate and the top plate. Then that's about 150, 160 millimeters of effective armor. That's nearly enough to stop a T-23-3 from pinning you, and an E-25. So and those are tier 7 tanks, so, like, they're gonna have to decide whether to put this at tier 9 or at tier 8, but it looks like it'll have the health pool of a tier 8, regards to the IS has 1,600, or 1,650, somewhere around there, and this thing having 1,750. So we're just gonna have to wait and see whether they'll put this at tier 8 or tier 9. Another picture of the 121B. Oh, skip the picture. And so the 121B is going to be a tier 10 tank, but they haven't confirmed that there's going to be a tier or a Chinese light tank line, which I think this is good. This is the head of the light tank line, I'm pretty sure. But I think the light tanks in the Chinese light tank line is going to I think the last 2 or 3 turn into mediums at the end. So yet again, another thing, we're just going to have to wait and see what this tank's going to become. If they're going to add it in the tech tree, or if they're going to make it a Clan Wars tank, or if they're going to make it like a Blitz fair tank, or they're going to make a very long grind event of this. We're just going to have to see. These are the stats of the vehicle. 120 millimeters of frontal armor, not bad for a medium or a light tank. This doesn't look like a light tank. But we haven't had a size comparison of this from another tank in game. So we're just going to have to wait and see if, judging by that, if we can judge it by if it's going to be medium or light tank when it gets put in the game. Like the Batchat, that's a light tank on, or I'm pretty sure it's, wait, isn't it a light tank on PC? I'm pretty sure it is. But on Blitz, it's a medium. So, wait, or did I get that mixed around? Or is the Batchat a medium on PC, but on here it's a light tank? I don't know. the Batchat's a confusing vehicle as it is. But anyway, the turret armor of this thing is insane at 240, and the side of it's 130, but the rear is 185, which is really good. I mean, if you're gonna be using your turret a lot and going hull down, but if you're just gonna be rushing someone, I can kind of see how they'll easily get the side of your turret or in the top, and they'll easily be able to just overmatch your turret and your armor in general. So yeah, this is the, oh my god, I'm butchering these Chinese tank names. The 131, is that it? The 131? No, it's not the 131. It's the 121. No, that's the tank that's gonna be coming out. It's the 113. That's what it was. It's the tier 10 Chinese heavy tank, the 113. This seems like it's gonna have a very good turret, very good hull, and it seems like it's actually gonna be able to side scrape maybe. It looks like it has the Russian sides, like how normal or how normal Russian tanks, normal Russian heavy sides look, like the IS-3 and the IS-8, etc. It's slightly sloped, and like the Glacial, the 121 also has slightly angled armor to the side, and other Chinese tanks. And the front is extremely flat. It doesn't seem like it has any frontal weak spots, except the two top hatches on the turret and the lower plate. And maybe this part of the plate might be weak, but it might not, because it doesn't seem like there's any change in shape to like even resemble a weak spot. And maybe this part of the tank, the little hatch, but just like some of these, just like the other parts of tanks, that might just be a viewport and not actually be counted as a part of the tank's hitbox. So it might not be an actual weak spot, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. There. This is a very interesting addition. This seems like it's gonna have the turret, the Type 59 Patton it's gonna have the old M48 Patton turret that it had on PC with the huge cupola, and it seems like it's gonna have a Chinese gun, and it's gonna have a WZ hull. That's gonna be very interesting when it gets released into the game. It'll probably have a pretty good turret, but it'll have an okay gun with okay rate of fire, but I don't think the hull's gonna be that well armored, considering it's gonna be placed at tier 8. Just like the premium, or the Tech Tree FV4202 was on PC, it was a tier 10, but then got moved to tier 8 as a premium for people that already had it. So that's another tank that's on the test server, just like the 113. This is another image of it, which makes the tank look slightly, like the turret, it makes the turret slightly squished upwards. Like, I don't know if you can see that, but the turret looks way taller than it did in this image, which is kind of interesting. Like, though it might just be the way the, like, images just it might just be the positioning of the camera, and someone might have cropped it and made it stretch a little bit, like, farther upwards, making the tank look kind of strange. But I don't know, it just looks completely different from these two images. I don't know. This is another image of the 113. with its... Is that a second gun? I don't think that's a second gun. Is it? No, it's not a second gun. Wait. No, it's not. But now we can get a better, like, angle of its hull. And initially I thought these were weak spots, but it seems like they're not. If you shoot, like, right, you see the line going through the side of the tank, and the line right here? If you shoot right between there, you might be able to damage it, but if you shoot below, it looks like it'll just go into the tracks and act as spaced armor, which is kind of trollish. But though it looks like all this part just goes into the tracks, so this thing has a very, very wide track or module damage model for the track. It's very big. This is another image of the 121B. Yes, it is the same tank. I was just making sure. Yeah, it is the same tank. It seems like these images, like, the tanks differ drastically in color every time we get a different image, which might be wargaming, like, altering the colors and improving in general, the look of the tank, and the model over time, and adding more and more slight details to it. This is oh my god. This is a picture of the 3 tanks on the test server. And as you can see, the 113 is in the tech tree, but the 121B isn't, which is kind of leaning towards this being a tech tree tank, the 113, even though it's a premium on the test server. And the reason why both of those cost 0 gold is also because for making it easier for people to play the tanks and test them. And since the 121B is a tier 10 premium Chinese tank, I feel like this is going to be released in a Chinese event of some sort, or given as a Clan Wars reward tank, or in a very, very long list of personal missions to complete that they might add later. We're just gonna have to see. Same thing with the WZ-111. That's been in the game for like a long time. Like maybe since last year. Has it? I think it has. Anyway, Wargaming recently, well, I guess Wargaming hasn't officially released it, but they've put that the WZ-111 isn't going to be in a event of any type, which as of now is going into effect, but they might change it later, of it being in a event. So I'm thinking that's going to be a Clan Wars tank or a reward vehicle that they'll give out maybe for personal missions, since missions aren't really a event. Like on PC, you don't say personal missions is a World Tanks event. This doesn't really make any sense. And this we just got recently, Lunar New Year, 204 days. Oh boy. And what's very interesting is that if you actually go to, I think it was Hugobert Jass's World Tanks Blitz 4.6 video, and you zoom in, this is actually there. This is where this screenshot was pulled from. It was pulled from his video, and as you can see, you see that little dark spot right where it looks like there's a gun and a turret? That looks awfully, and I mean awfully close to the little light we have, or little, what would you call it? Like a little spotlight, I guess, or a light, I guess, on the 121B. I think the 121B is going to be a 204-day mission grind event, or a grind event in general, that's going to have this tank. And I know that sounds a little... that sounds a little insane, to be honest, which it really does. Like, why Wargaming would do a 204-day event with a 121V is kind of insane, but it makes sense. 204 days to get a tier 10 premium Chinese medium tank. To be honest, 204 days, that's quite a bit of time to get a tier 10 tank in general. Especially if it's a premium. Like, if they did that with a lot of premium tanks at tier 10, like the M60, the 121B, and other tanks that are going to be, probably going to be tier 10, like the Object 907, the, what was it called? Oh yeah, I think, yeah, I thought that it had a secondary name. I might just be imagining things. I might be just imagining things, but, I really do think this event is real, and it's gonna be interesting how people react to this event, and we oh my god, we don't even know anything about this either. We don't know nothing about this event and how it's going to be available, or how you're going to be grinding for this tank in the first place. You don't know how you're going to get it, how much it's going to take, or how long it's going to be to get it. But 204 days. 204 days. That would last about in the middle of summer, wouldn't it? Or a little bit after that, it seems. It seems like this event would last about that long. Anyway, this is really interesting. The French medium AMX-30B released update 4.8. That's very soon for a tank that was leaked not too long ago, especially since we've only gotten the tier 8 and 9, and I mean the tier 10 and 9, and not gotten anything else. Even though, actually, I think on PC it actually splits off from the AMX 1375, actually. Yeah, actually, I think it does split off from that tank. So, never mind, but apparently Wargaming thinks that they have to abandon the idea of adding the AMX-30B to the French tech tree, but they say it will be added in another way, which yet again supports the idea that it's going to be a premium tank and it's going to be a reward vehicle. Which then again adds to the buildup of them having official Clan Wars reward tanks and higher level tournaments too. So this is a lot of news. This is just a lot of news. This is the what camo was it? I'm completely drawing a blank on all these camos. But it's going to be a camo release in update 4.6, and it's going to be available on all tanks, sort of like the Rust camo. but it's going to be a winter version of that, it seems. And the new legendary camo for the Super Pershing, which is going to be called the Hunter. Now, we're not sure if this is it's going to be called that in-game when you add the camo. But that's usually what happens if you add a legendary camo to a tank. It changes the name to whatever was the name of the camo, with the E25 number 1, Type 62 Dragon, etc. And finally, we are at the end of this. This has been a very long video. The 121 with a legendary Chinese camo. It's going to be only for the Chinese mediums, or Chinese tanks in general, for update 4.6. And it looks it looks good, but I think they should have made it a little bit more bold, like the rust camo, in terms of difference. I wish they should have made it more black and yellow and bright orange, and just mixed it in just like this, and make it a lot more different than the rust camo. I mean, I can kind of see there's some green patches too in this, which I guess now that I think about it, that does make a lot of sense. But yeah, this is just a very, okay, if I had the chance of getting this camo for gold, and I had the gold, I probably wouldn't buy this. I probably wouldn't buy this camo, because I just don't like it. It just looks strange, and I don't know why. It just does. So that's it. That is the end of World Tanks Blitz update 4.6 through update 4.8. I mean, this is at least probably maybe 2 to 3 updates worth of information, mostly about Chinese tanks, and the Chinese premium tanks and tech tree line. And it's just, we have so much more to go until they're done adding all the Chinese tanks. And another reason why I think this event is really gonna happen is because they're gonna be adding the whole Chinese tech tree this year. And why would you do a Chinese update that is going to potentially have this in it, a 121B Tier 10 Premium Medium, that's going to be 204 days long, if for the whole year you're gonna be releasing Chinese tech tree tanks? That just seems fitting for all of that to make sense. It just does. And that's why I think next update, and I mean a whole lot of stuff is going to change for Blitz. And this isn't even counting the new customization system. That's not going to be as advanced as PCs is right now. But we're going to have a customization system nonetheless for tanks and emblems and little emblems and I'm trying to pick up this. We're gonna have little emblems and letters and clan and probably tournament reward emblems. And it would be really interesting if we could actually put medals on our tanks as little really rare medals, like the Faden's medal on our tank. Like, we can just put it as, we can take all the color from it and then put it as a orange emblem on our tank, and then we can put a black camo on our tank, with the customization system, and then we can make our tank like look very noticeable with the Faden's metal emblem on it. That would just look really, really cool. With this, like, wow. So yeah, this is the end of this leaks video. Update 4.6 is going to be coming out very soon, probably next week or in a couple of days at the most. Considering this much information has been leaked in the past, well, week. So all this stuff is going to be coming out really, really soon. So yeah, I think I have dragged y'all on long enough. This has been a long Royal Tanks Blitz leaks video. And I think this makes up a lot of what I haven't been updating y'all on for a while. So I hope this makes up for it, guys. I know this is a very long video, and if you don't want to watch it, that's fine. You can just skip through it, look at the new stuff that's going on, like the video, and that's it. You can just leave, not even post a comment. That's fine. And I'm really excited for the new stuff that's coming out and coming to Blitz this year. So yeah, that's the end of this video. Hope y'all enjoyed the new news, new stuff that's coming. It's just gonna be awesome. I cannot grab my head around how awesome all this stuff is gonna be when it's in game. Just wow. So yeah, that's it, guys. I've tried this on way too long. Hope you enjoyed the video. Comment, like, and subscribe. Bye, guys.